Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. All right, this is the last story I'm going to tell for now, and then we're going to get back to the personal development, more mental game stuff that I usually talk about. So this story is really about, it's more a general thing about what was the best part of college. The best part of college, I'll tell you right now, was the socializing, the partying, and stuff like that. But I want to tell you how I got into it. So I told you my freshman year of college, I went to Penn State Abington, which is right outside of Philadelphia. They don't have housing, so you live at home when you go to school. There's what they call a commuter campus. Then I got recruited to Penn State Altoona, and I went there for my last 3 years. Now, during my sophomore year, that was my first year at Altoona, I remember near the end of the year, I started going on this website. This is early days of social media, before it was called social media. There used to be this website called blackplanet.com. Some of y'all might remember Black Planet. You got to be older to know Black Planet. But blackplanet.com was like, I think some of y'all might remember MySpace. MySpace technically still exists, but people don't use it the way that they used to. Or now it's morphed into kind of like Facebook. But before Facebook was MySpace, before MySpace was blackplanet.com. Now, Black Planet was a website specifically targeted towards black people to connect with each other. You can make a little profile and talk about yourself and send messages to people and stuff like that. Same thing we do on social media now. So on Black Planet, I remember I had this work study job at the Center for, what was it called? Community Arts Center on campus at Penn State Altoona. And this woman named Noelle used to work for her, and I would be on a computer, and then whenever I didn't have work, I'd just be messing around on Black Planet. So I remember I'm messing around on Black Planet. I started trying to connect with, of course, I'm trying to find girls who were in that area. Now, I'm in Altoona, Pennsylvania, so it ain't like it's that many people, especially black people in fucking Altoona. So I ended up connecting with this girl who was at State College. She went to the main campus of Penn State, which at the time was like 45 minutes away from, maybe an hour away from Altoona. Now they built new roads. Now it's only like 30 minutes, but it was an hour away at that time. And I'm messaging with her, and she's like, yeah, I go to Penn State. She's like, why don't you just come up? And she was asking, she found out I had a car. She's like, yo, why don't you just come up? We can go out to a party, chill out, get to know each other, whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. I had never been to the State College campus at this point. I'd been in Altoona for a whole year, but I'd never been up there because I didn't know anybody up there. So I had no reason to go up there. Now, mind you, at this point, my first year at Penn State Altoona, I was really good academically. I did really good academically because I didn't really know anybody like that. I came there not knowing anyone. Came there to play ball, but I wasn't really into the social world. I knew my teammates on the basketball team, but I didn't really know them like that. None of them was really like my friend like that. So I was really to myself a lot. So if I wasn't on the basketball court practicing, working on my game or with the team, I was in my dorm room. I basically spent that time studying. So I was on like the dean's list, which is like, you got to have, I think, a 3.5 GPA. I made the dean's list, I think, twice my sophomore year at Penn State Altoona because I wasn't doing anything but going to class and playing ball. But after I met this chick and I went up to State College and I just saw their campus, I'm like, yo, this campus is, first of all, their campus is fucking huge. State College's campus is huge. It's like 80,000, 50,000, something like that. Maybe 100,000 students that go there. First of all, is all these buildings. You got all this campus housing on campus and off campus housing. It's all kinds of parties and events and activities going on at all times every single day. The first time I seen it, I was like, shit, this is the campus that I should have went to. This is where it's actually popping off at. So that's when I started going up to the State College campus. And then my junior year, now I knew more people. I lived off campus my junior and senior years, and now I know about State College. So it got to the point, even during my junior and senior years, where I would just drive up, sometimes on a Friday or Saturday night, if it wasn't nothing else going on, I would drive up to the State College campus. I didn't even have any plans. I didn't know where any event was happening. I didn't know if there was a party happening anywhere or anything like that. I would just drive up there with no plans whatsoever, and I would just drive around till I saw something that looked like things were happening, and I would just get out and go in. Or I would just pull up in my car, and I would just sit there and just, basically parking lot pimping, just wait for people to walk by and just see what was going on, talk to people, get to know people, say what's up, see what was, ask people, yo, where's the party at? What's happening in there? Who in there? Try to talk to girls and stuff like that. I just started doing that randomly in the State College campus, and then I started putting my dudes that I did roll with, I started putting them on, like, yo, let's go up to State College. And then I started knowing people. I started finding out, all right, every Tuesday, this club right here is popping off, or every Wednesday is this, and every Friday is this. So then I started going up there specifically for those things. So there were many times in college, I would go to a bar or a party or a club by myself. I wouldn't know anybody in there. I just knew it was a party happening in there, and I would just go in there and just start talking to people. And this is kind of like these days as an entrepreneur, especially in the professional speaking world or a salesperson, you do a lot of cold calling where you just reach out to people that never heard of you, don't even know you, they're not expecting your call, and then you just try to put yourself on. I was basically doing that, not trying to sell anything. Well, actually, I was selling myself. I was doing that in the kind of the party social life scene in college back then, because I'm like, shit, this is where it's at. This is where it's happening. I need to start doing that. So I started doing that, and then I started to know people. I started to make more connections, started to make more contacts and know people here. I knew people over here. I started knowing people on the court, know people off the court, meet these girls, these people over here. And that's how I started to kind of build my network. It wasn't because I knew somebody who started introducing me to people. It's because I started introducing myself to people randomly, coldly, and then I started to build my connections from there. So that's really how I got into the, the social scene, the party scene, I guess you could say, in college. And then once I figured out what that party scene was, I stopped paying so much attention in class. So that's how I went from having like a 3.8 GPA as a sophomore to I graduated like a 2.6, simply because I wasn't really doing schoolwork like that. I did enough schoolwork to make sure I graduated, but I didn't really care that much because I was much more into the social scene. And I tell people all the time, the most valuable thing I got from college was the socializing and the playing ball. It wasn't anything that I learned in class. Not a knock on people who are serious about school, not a knock on the teachers or nothing like that, but that's just the truth. And I'm keeping it real with y'all, telling y'all what it is. So if you want to learn more about my backstory, especially in college, especially on the court, you can get my book, Buy a Game. I'll give you the free download. You just go to workonmygame.com/buyagame, BUYAGAME, workonmygame.com/buyagame. You can download my first book completely for free. I've been giving that book away for free for over 10 years. You'll get it right now, workonmygame.com/buyagame. Work on your game. Dre all